Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide and into another edition of My Deep Guide Q&A. Let's roll the questions. This is regarding the Dasung Paperlike 13K screen. Why is there such a large gap in quality between the software and the hardware? If the browser and the antivirus is screaming at the app and the company just can't be bothered to fix what's horribly wrong with it, then how can the average customer trust enough to plug this highly suspicious device into their computer? If my monitor wouldn't work without an app like that, it'd get returned ASAP, which would be a shame since the monitor itself is pretty cool. I completely agree. This is one of the most absurd things that I've seen in recent times. To actually still see in 2025 with the technology and everything that we have at our fingertips, most of it actually available for free for everyone. To still have bizarre translations that are non-contextual and make zero sense to users, to have default user interface coding type of thing without any kind of design or any thought put into it, and to have the website interface made in such a way that it's basically really difficult to find what you need, and when you do find it, it's borderline impossible to download past certain normal security measures. It's beyond absurd. And then on top of that, the file that you're downloading isn't even named correctly. It has parentheses 1. It's the second download. That's the one that kind of kicks me completely down and seals in the fact that nobody gives a damn about what they were doing there. It was not even good enough. It was just like, it's done, next. And that is absolutely horrific, because that's the mentality and that's the company that you're supposed to rely on giving you support should you need it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And as I said in my review, there is absolutely zero excuses or justifications that can be made for something like this to be in place and for it to be for a very long time, because Dasung has had that issue for years and they still haven't fixed it, which basically means they don't really care. Again, Dasung Paperlike 13K looks great, but I wasn't aware of the number of cycles before degradation. I looked it up. It's anywhere from 1 to 10 million. If we assume 10 million, then it would show degradation after 75 hours of continuous use, like with video. And then, the comment goes on to talk about some other things as well. But while that pure math may be there, it's not exactly correct, because the driver and the screen functions in a slightly different way. This would have been true if the driver allowed continuous refreshing and updating of the entire screen from your computer, which is how a traditional monitor works, but it's not what it does. What it actually needs to do, the driver, that's why software is needed, is that it needs to kind of insert itself between a computer signal that is being sent to the e-ink monitor, in this case Dasung Paperlike, and it needs to translate and convert that signal into something that's optimized for the e-ink display. What does that mean? Traditional signal fires up what your refresh rate is. So in this case, let's say 33 Hertz or 33 frames per second. It sends 33 full screen refreshes, regardless of what the content is, to the display and tells it, hey, refresh the whole thing. That's not what an e-ink display wants. What an e-ink display wants and needs is, hey, has anything changed? And if it has changed, let me know which pixels have changed so that I can perform that change. And that's basically the role of the driver. If you take a video, for example, 75-hour video, and you press play on it, if it's a completely static video where nothing changes for 75 hours, you are not going to spend a single ink cell of the screen because no content will have changed. However, if you have a dynamic video, 75 hours, where every single pixel is changing every single frame, then and only then are you going to actually spend the screen in that amount of time. So what that means in reality is that certain areas of the screen with the use of the computer are going to get spent a little bit more and a little bit less. This is the reason why I said that I wouldn't personally use a screen like that for video purposes, but I would use it for occasional video calls and for every other use, because for all of that type of stuff, for example, reading on the web, reading documents, typing, and all of that kind of stuff, you are not refreshing the whole screen at all. You're refreshing a little bit and then it's static. And then the thing when you're typing, you're just refreshing small portions of the screen. And that way you extend the longevity of that screen by a magnitude of some sort, which I do not know which one it will be, but it's certainly much, much, much more than 75 hours of continuous use. What do we need to go to get this kind of refresh rate on a mobile device with a Wacom EMR? Well, that's again with a Dasung 13K. Well, you need a proper driver, and that's going to be able to kind of do the type of work that the Dasung driver is doing. So that needs to be in place on the device itself, and needs to be written for, let's say, an Android tablet to translate the signal that Android is sending and translate it into the e-ink panel. And you also need to have the willingness to either offer adequate shorter type of support for a product like that, because the length of the screen is going to be, you're going to spend that screen longer, as I iterated in the previous answer, and your support of the product needs to be kind of clearly stating that type of thing, or you need to put in some type of protections and limitations or monitoring at least in place so that the users are aware of that kind of thing. But to kind of simplify it, you need a driver and you need transparency about the technology limitations and what it actually means to have that type of performance for that type of technology. Boox could learn a thing or two from Dasung about mitigating ghosting. My Note Max has gotten worse in that regard with each progressive firmware update. Well, to be fair, it only got like 2, 3 maybe updates. I think maybe 2 or 3 updates, and I keep bugging them about that now for months, and they keep saying like, yeah, we're hard working on that, and we're gonna send you a version to test, which never happened. And now we have Boox 4.1 coming out, and my Boox Note Max hasn't received it yet. Has yours? And did they address the ghosting issue? Because they certainly haven't. And we have, let's forget about Dasung, for example. No need to go cross-platform. Let's just look at the Boox's Tab X C, which uses software deghosting and refresh methodology, which is like eons more cleaner and better than it is on the Note Max. Why not on the Note Max? The problem here is not just the panel, it's just even if you turn on deep refresh for every single operation, it's not cleaning everything correctly. So their driver is not driving the display correctly on the Boox Note Max. And I think that is the issue, that they are not communicating. And I still absolutely adore my Note Max and I use it daily and it's absolutely fantastic. But that is the glaring issue that that device and model has, and it's still present, and they haven't addressed it in a satisfactory manner at all. So they haven't solved it or addressed it, and that sucks. Regarding Remarkable Paper Pro Move, I wish there was a compatibility with other brands. Something like this, so super portable, is very attractive indeed, especially to use in conjunction with a bigger device, in my case Boox Note Max. There's no way to create a decent workflow using these two different devices, is there? Well, actually there is. Define decent, because you can install your Remarkable app on your Boox device, for example, on your Note Max. And from that Remarkable app, you can download those, I think that you can download your notes and your documents as PDF files. So that's something that you should be able to at least try and then kind of work with that. It's not perfectly seamless, but it works. This is regarding the video where I talked about the use of ceramic nib on glass screens. Particularly, the analysis was done with the Go 10.3 in mind. And the question is this analysis applicable to the Boox Tab X C? And yes, it is absolutely applicable to any glass screen that you have. but the estimations will be a little bit different. They will depend on the surface roughness coefficient and the character of the surface roughness of that glass. So that will affect the projection time slightly, but the end result is the same. You will end up micro polishing and then polishing the overall surface of the screen on the areas that have more use than others. So you will have unequal levels of polish, reflections, and stuff like that after an extended period of time. This is regarding the Remarkable Update 3.22. I think what is being missed here is in this video and in the comments is that I believe that Remarkable is using server-side compute ML models for detection of handwriting and conversion to text, and then the index is being updated from the cloud. This results in much more accurate handwriting detection since cloud compute is leveraged. This likely cannot be done reliably on the device. I have a Supernote that does automatic conversion and it essentially creates useless gibberish text, at least with my handwriting. To create an index more complex, AI needs to be leveraged via the cloud for a higher degree of accuracy. Sorry, but there is no free lunch. Cloud compute has costs that no company will completely eat. I have no problem with using a subscription service if it provides a valuable capability, like this one seems it may be. Well, that certainly is your right to have a belief of some sort, but the information that I have provided comes directly from Remarkable engineers, and they confirmed and they themselves told me that the OCR recognition is not using any kind of LLM or AI type of capabilities at all. It is just a bog standard, well-calibrated OCR algorithm that can run perfectly fine on any of the Remarkable devices locally, no cloud required whatsoever. So nope, what I'm saying here is not a belief, it's a certified fact from a first-hand source, the people who made this. So yeah. Supernote works with a keyboard? Since when? I recall it was bad and laggy. What keys are you using? Does it matter? Thanks. I'm using my Logitech keys to go or go to keys, something, whatever. I have a video about that, so I love that little portable keyboard. But yes, Supernote used to be as a platform uber laggy and uber useless, and I haven't really tested out the document functionality yet on it because it might be an app related thing. Because in text boxes, I completely agree. It's now super nice and works properly. This is the first time that I was able to actually type on any Supernote device with, yeah, the lag and the experience and the precision being exactly spot on in those text boxes. So it remains to be seen if the improvement is system-wide, or if it's like good in text boxes but still bad in the document text app thing, and then it's most definitely the app fault, not the device's fault. But the good thing here is that the device is absolutely capable of having decent typing with the hardware keyboard, so that's a nice thing to see and definitely to have with text boxes because it makes it really, really useful. I've used two e-ink devices, so not much of experience in that area, but using Note Max from the first time I opened it till now gives me a sense of satisfaction every time I use it. After using it, I've realized the importance of no front light is something that makes the device great for note-taking. I'm glad to hear that some people are actually kind of going in and keeping an open mind enough to explore and understand the levels that may be counterintuitive, or you may have some kind of resistance against it to begin with. But actually, if you do try it, there's a reason behind these things. And yes, having a front light is more flexible and things like that, but it introduces these things that are not so good, especially for reflective panels. It will introduce a fuzzier image, darker image, and most importantly, it will introduce a disconnect between writing on the surface of a device or writing on the surface of a screen, and then what you wrote displays on the screen of a device. That disconnect, even though it's like usually a millimeter thin, it is plenty to create a night and day difference between immersion of writing and interacting with your device, and also therefore how you look at that device and how you use it, and in the end the return thing, what that device sends back to you and how it inspires you to use it further. In mundane tasks and, you know, kind of regular type of stuff, it doesn't really matter. It will reflect in ways of, hey, I enjoy using it, I enjoy spending time with it or not. But if we're talking about any form of even mildly creative work, that aspect becomes actually quite important to keep in mind. So I'm happy to kind of hear that some people are keeping an open mind and exploring and discovering the benefits of not having a front light. Regarding the Supernote update, that's a fine example of a hyperlink architecture that I really miss in the Remarkable ecosystem, Remarkable to Owner. Thanks for the video. Now the Supernote platform has matured and it just feels so nicely kind of tuned, and it's turning into this workhorse of a system. The only thing that I'm kind of like now wishing and hoping for is that they get to the A4, Supernote A4, that it kind of comes out, so that I can get back to the Supernote platform, because right now I'm still on Note Max because of the format. It's just simply, when you have something that good and so comfortable, it's really, really difficult to go back to a more cramped type of environment. But I am constantly kind of lacking and wishing that it had the functionalities of the Supernote, that the Supernote has as a platform, especially now with the text boxes and the digest features and the hyperlinking. It's just turning into this processing system that's, of course, far more advanced than Remarkable 2, for example, or the Remarkable environment. So it's for a different type of use case scenario. But if that's what you're looking for, yeah, the Supernote environment is turning into something very unique, very special, and really, really powerful. Well, that's it. Those are all the questions for today's Q&A. I hope that you found them informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. And be sure to check all, because otherwise YouTube algorithm is gonna go and it's not even gonna send you notifications when new videos come out. Go figure. And also do engage in comments down below. That not only helps me find your questions for next editions of Q&A much easier, much more easily, but it also helps a lot with the visibility of the channel and the videos and all that kind of stuff. So thank you very much if you choose to engage. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.